evening, Pastor.
Good evening.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
My name is Alexis Harris, and we are happy to have you on the cover of DyNAMC's Leaders for a Changing World magazine. In your own words, Pastor, what makes you a leader for a changing world, and what is your leadership style?
Alexis, thank you for that question. I believe that leaders are not born. I don't believe leaders are made. I believe leaders are ordinary people who find themselves in a position against an obstacle, an adversary, or a foe, and they just decide that this is my moment.
What advice can you give us as NAMCO student member emerging leaders that can help support NAMCO and DyNAMC and counter some of the negative, abrasive behavior of some larger corporations who do not want to embrace diversity?
I think this generation can do a couple of things. One, don't stop, don't shop until these corporations' ways drop. There's no reason why we should be spending our hard-earned money with corporations that are not sensitive to diversity. And not just us withholding our funds, but we need to let the nation and the world know of their practices, of their inability to be inclusive of all people. And then we'll get other supporters. So once again, don't stop, don't shop.
Your decision to publicly speak about race issues, injustice, and inequality is inspiring. So what inspires you, Pastor Wilson, to take such leadership and active role in these types of national diversity issues?
One, because I'm a black man. After you remove the education, pastoral role, speaking engagements, even a half-decent suit, the core of who I am is a black man. So when I see anyone being mistreated, when I see black men being mistreated, I know that the same thing can and will happen to me.
Why is diversity important to you?
Diversity is important to me because it's important to God. When I study the life of Jesus, I see that he came for everybody, not just for a particular group of people. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him should not perish, but have everlasting life."
What are your thoughts on diversity being critical to shareholder value, as well as building institutions, empowering communities and leaders of the next generation?
Diversity is important simply because we're building communities. Communities should look like our nation. We have so much diversity here that in building nations and businesses, they should be reflective of who's here.
When you finally retire someday, what do you hope or expect to have accomplished? What do you want your legacy to be?
Wow, what a fitting question for the end of our time together. When it's all said and done for me, I want to have inspired generations to love God and to serve humanity. That's what it's all about for me.
Lastly, could you give me 3 words that summarize who is Pastor Dallas Wilson?
Of all the questions, this appears to be the most difficult. To sum up myself in 3 words. Okay, let me see how I can do this. First, I love God. Everything that I do, everything that I am rests upon the platform of my unquenchable love for God. I'm still in awe that he can use a rusty old bent tool like me for his glory. I love God. Next 3 words, I love my family. That too inspires me. The pats on the back around the world mean nothing to me as much as those 3 kids, my grandbaby, my older daughter, just speaking words of love and affirmation. They help me to pull off all the layers of who I am to others. And I get to be dad. I get to be grandpa. And for my wife, she just reminds me of who Dallas is. Lastly, let me work. I come from the generation where nothing was given to me. I am not the son of a bishop. I am not the son of a woman of high regard in the church, at least when I was younger. My mother was the one frying chickens, fish dinners, and delivering them to barbershops in New York City. My father was a musician, but they had a lifestyle that helped us, all of our children, to find God. They gave me a work ethic. Nobody gave me anything except God. We had to build. We started with one person in our living room, and God is just so awesome in this journey. So there you have it. I love God. I love my family. Just let me work.